He set the house on fire, but the story is too long to tell. But suffice to say that he survived and the house survived as well. And on evening walks, and Mom took him, he was always first out the door. The old one and I brought up the rear because our bones were sore. And he'd charge up the street with Mom hanging on. What a beautiful sight they were. And if it was still light and the tourists were out, they created a bit of a stir. But every once in a while, he'd stop in his tracks and with a frown on his face, turn around, it was just to make sure that the old one was there to follow him where he was bound. We're early to bedders in our house. I guess I'm the first to retire. And as I'd leave the room, he'd look up at me and get up from his place by the fire. He knew where the tennis balls were upstairs, and I'd give him one for a while, and he'd shove it under the bed with his nose, and I'd dig it out with a smile. But before very long, he'd tire of the ball and be asleep in his corner in no time at all. And there were nights when I'd feel him climb upon our bed and lie between us, and I'd pat his head. And there were nights when I'd feel this stare, and I'd wake up and he'd be sitting there, and I'd reach out my hand to stroke his hair, and sometimes I'd feel him sigh, and I'd think I know the reason why. He'd wake up at night and he would have this fear of the dark, of life, of lots of things. And he'd be glad to have me near. And now he's dead. And there are nights when I think I feel him climb up upon our bed and lie between us. And I pat his head. And there are nights when I think I feel that stare, and I reach out my hand to stroke his hair, but he's not there. Oh, how I wish that wasn't so. I'll always love a dog named Bo.
James Stewart, thank you.
Thank you.
James Stewart rides together with Richard Widmark tonight at 11 o'clock here on BBC1.
George and Linda have been happily married for 17 years. Or have they?
I'm considering leaving George.
Leaving him where?
Is George too dull?
George, do something crazy!
Unromantic?
George?
Is there any hope?
It's no good, George. We'd only make the same mistakes all over again.
No, we won't. We'll make different ones.
Lisa Goddard and Ray Cooney star in Wife Begins at 40, tonight at 9:30 on 1.
In 25 minutes, David Frost and Norris McWhirter welcome 6 more supreme record breakers into the Guinness Book of Records Hall of Fame. And it looks as if we're to meet one possible contender now, as the most boring human being within 3 million light years confronts Doctor Who.
Nasty little booby trap, that. That is, if it is a booby trap. Still, suddenly no way forward.
Is it a whale?
One way to find out. That eye. I've seen it before. Of course, it was on the kites at the entrance hall. Fascinating. Somehow, somewhere down there is the answer to all that's going on in the psychic circus.
Here. Awfully sorry to butt in like this, old boy, but I'm afraid you're wanted. You're the next one, due on in the ring.
Why did you bring them here?
Survival of the fittest, old girl. Don't tell me you never came across that on the planet Vulpana.
But we were on the edge of discovering the secret of the psychic circus. Doesn't that interest you at all?
Frankly, no, old chap. Anyway, what's going on seems pretty clear to me. Anybody dumb enough to get into the ring gets killed.